The world you see before you is nothing more than a reflection of the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs you hold within. Everything you experience, from the relationships you attract to the opportunities that unfold, is shaped by the assumptions you carry about yourself and the world. If you believe yourself to be unworthy, the world will confirm that belief by presenting circumstances that reinforce it. If you see yourself as abundant, as someone who is chosen and valued, life will reflect that truth back to you in ways you may not yet comprehend. The outer world does not act independently of you. It is a mirror, faithfully revealing the state of your inner being. Most people believe that their circumstances shape their thoughts, but the truth is quite the opposite. It is the thoughts that shape the circumstances. When you allow doubt, fear, and insecurity to take residence in your mind, they will manifest in the physical world. You will find yourself surrounded by people and situations that seem to confirm those negative assumptions. But these external conditions did not appear by chance. They are the inevitable outcome of the inner reality you have accepted as true. The way to change what you see outside of you is not through force or struggle, but through a shift in awareness. If you believe that you must chase after love, that you must prove your worth to be chosen, then you will always find yourself in situations where love seems just out of reach. This is not because you are unworthy, but because you have accepted a state of being where you are not yet chosen. The world cannot help but respond to the identity you assume for yourself. You may attempt to change things on the surface, trying harder, working more, or seeking validation from others, but until you shift your inner state, the results will remain the same. You will continue to experience lack until you stop identifying with it. The same is true for success, happiness, and peace. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, someone for whom things never seem to work out, then struggle will become your natural experience. The subconscious mind accepts what you consistently impress upon it, and it projects those impressions onto the canvas of your life. But if you begin to see yourself as someone for whom things unfold effortlessly, someone who is always in the right place at the right time, then your reality will reshape itself to match that inner certainty. You do not need to wait for proof from the outside world before you accept a new truth. Accept it within, and the proof will follow. The power of assumption is absolute. It is not enough to merely wish for a better life. You must live in the feeling of it before it appears. If you desire love, you must assume the feeling of already being deeply loved. If you seek financial abundance, you must assume the feeling of already being secure and prosperous. The world does not give you what you want, it gives you who you are. And who you are is determined by the state of mind you consistently occupy. If you hold on to thoughts of rejection, of being overlooked or forgotten, the world will affirm those beliefs without fail. Many people resist this truth because they have spent years believing that they are powerless to change their circumstances. They point to past disappointments as proof that life is unfair or that they are simply unlucky. But these experiences were not the cause of their struggles. They were the effect of a deeper belief system that had been playing out long before those circumstances appeared. To break free from this cycle, one must be willing to discard the old story and step into a new one. The past does not define you unless you allow it to. The greatest shift occurs when you take full responsibility for the life you are living. Not responsibility in the sense of blame, but in the realization that you have always held the power to change it. The moment you decide to dwell in a new state of being, the world around you begins to reorganize itself in response. You do not need to fight for what is yours. You only need to accept it in consciousness, and the outer world will bend to match the inner transformation. It does not matter where you have been or what you have experienced. Only the state you occupy now determines what comes next. When you understand this, you will no longer cling to what does not align with your highest self. You will not chase after love, success, or validation, for you will know that all things are drawn to the one who already possesses them in spirit. The world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. And the moment you shift within, the reflection must change. What belongs to you by divine right is already set in motion, already moving toward you, whether you can see it or not. The idea that you must struggle, chase, or force things to happen is an illusion born out of fear. You have been conditioned to believe that if you do not grasp tightly onto what you want, it will slip through your fingers. But the truth is, what is truly meant for you cannot be taken away, cannot be delayed, and cannot be kept from you by any external force. The only thing that can prevent its arrival is your own state of doubt and resistance. So many people live in fear of losing what they hold dear. They cling to relationships that no longer serve them, jobs that drain them, and circumstances that do not align with their true desires, all because they believe that letting go means losing. But in reality, holding on to something that is not truly meant for you only delays what is. When you release what does not belong in your life, you create space for something far greater. The universe is not working against you. It is always rearranging itself to bring you what you have assumed to be true within. If a person walks away from you, if an opportunity fades, if something seems to be slipping beyond your grasp, do not fight it. What resists you is not rejecting you. It is simply revealing itself as not part of your destined path. The energy of desperation repels, while the energy of knowing attracts. If you knew with absolute certainty that what is truly yours was on its way, would you still feel the need to beg for it? Would you still chase after things that do not naturally flow into your life? When you trust the unseen, you no longer cling to what is leaving. Most people misunderstand the nature of their desires. They think they must go out into the world and battle for what they want. But what they do not realize is that everything is drawn to them in accordance with their inner state. If you assume that something is already yours, the universe has no choice but to bring it into your experience. If something is not staying in your life, it is because on some level, it does not match the frequency of your deepest assumption. Instead of forcing it to remain, shift your focus to what does align with you. There is a flow to life that cannot be manipulated by force. Those who trust this flow live in a state of peace, knowing that nothing real can ever be lost. They do not mourn what leaves because they understand that anything taken away is either being replaced with something greater or was never meant to be permanent in the first place. The things that truly belong to you will gravitate toward you effortlessly, without struggle, without endless questioning. It is only when you resist this truth that suffering begins. People often chase after relationships that have already shown them they are not meant to stay. They fight for the attention of those who do not see them, plead for validation from sources that will never provide it. But why? Why seek love where it does not naturally flow? Why demand acceptance from those who are unwilling to give it freely? If something is truly meant to be in your life, it will not require begging, convincing, or exhausting effort. It will stay because it belongs. It will remain because it is in harmony with your highest self. Many fear that if they stop chasing, they will be left with nothing. But the opposite is true. The moment you stop grasping, you allow space for what is truly aligned with you to enter. The only reason you have ever felt lack is because you have been focused on what is missing rather than what is already on its way. The energy you send out, whether of neediness or confidence, of scarcity or abundance, determines what comes back to you. The universe does not give you what you want. It gives you what you assume to be true. There is no need to rush, no need to control, no need to hold on to anything out of fear. The moment you surrender to the knowing that what is meant for you will always find its way, you step into a life of ease. You do not fear the endings because you trust in the new beginnings. You do not cling to what is slipping away because you understand that what is truly yours is already written, already unfolding, already on its way. Letting go is not an act of loss, but an act of creation. When you release something that no longer aligns with your higher self, you are not left with emptiness. You are left with possibility. The space that is created is not a void to be feared, but a fertile ground for something new to grow. Yet many hold on to what is no longer serving them, believing that their grip is the only thing keeping them from falling into nothingness. But this fear is an illusion. The tighter you hold on to what is meant to leave, the more you block what is meant to arrive. Most people resist letting go because they equate it with giving up. They believe that if they walk away from something, a relationship, a job, an identity, they will be left with nothing. But what they do not see is that holding on to something out of fear is the very thing keeping them stuck. Life is constantly trying to bring us new opportunities, new people, new experiences that align with our evolving state. But when our hands are full of what no longer belongs, we have no room to receive what is waiting for us. Letting go is not about rejection, it is about trust. It is trusting that when something falls away, it is making space for something greater. It is believing that just because something was good for you once does not mean it is good for you now. Growth requires movement, and movement requires change. Yet many resist change, clinging to familiarity even when it brings discomfort. They hold on to relationships that drain them, jobs that stifle them, and habits that diminish them, all because they fear the uncertainty of what comes next. But what if the uncertainty is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced? What if the very thing you are afraid of losing is the barrier between you and the life you are meant to live? When you let go, you are not left with nothing, you are left with space. And space is powerful. It is the open door through which new blessings can enter, the empty canvas on which new dreams can be painted. What seems like an ending is often just the clearing of a path for something greater. Letting go is not about weakness, it is about strength. It takes strength to walk away from what no longer serves you, to trust in the unknown, to believe that something better is on its way, even when you cannot yet see it. Those who refuse to let go remain stuck in cycles of repetition, experiencing the same disappointments, the same struggles, the same unfulfilling patterns, because they are too afraid to release what is not working. But the moment you decide to let go, you set yourself free. You step into a new energy, one that welcomes growth, expansion, and transformation. Often, what we cling to is much smaller than what is meant for us. We hold on to temporary situations, fearing that nothing better will come. We accept less than what we deserve because we are afraid to be left with nothing. But life does not take without giving. It does not remove without replacing. What you release with faith will always be returned in a form greater than what you let go of. The problem is most people do not wait long enough to see the replacement. They panic and run back to what is comfortable, even when comfort comes at the cost of their own growth. Letting go does not mean forgetting or erasing the past. It simply means acknowledging that what once served you has now completed its purpose. It means allowing yourself to move forward without being anchored to what no longer fits. It means trusting that the space left behind is not empty but full of potential. Too often, people look at the space as a loss, when in reality, it is a gift, the gift of new possibilities, new love, new experiences that could never come into a life too crowded with the past. When you release what is not meant for you, you align yourself with what is. You shift from grasping to receiving, from forcing to allowing. And in that space, in that quiet openness, greater things begin to unfold. You do not need to chase. You do not need to beg. You do not need to hold on out of fear. The moment you let go, you invite something greater to take its place. Chasing is rooted in the belief that what you desire is separate from you, that it exists outside of you and must be pursued, grasped, or controlled. It comes from a place of lack, a mindset that says, I do not have this, so I must go out and get it. But what few realize is that the very act of chasing pushes the thing you desire further away. The energy of pursuit carries with it an underlying message of desperation, of needing something to complete you, and anything sought from a place of need will always remain elusive. What is chased feels the weight of that need and instinctively pulls away, not because it is meant to be distant, but because your energy is repelling rather than attracting. The world mirrors back to you the state you assume to be true. If you assume that what you desire is already yours, the universe has no choice but to reflect that reality. But when you chase, you reinforce the idea that it is missing, that it is distant, that it is something outside of your reach. And so, it remains just that, something you are always running after but never truly catching. The key is not to chase but to shift your inner state, to step into the feeling of already having what you desire, to live in the knowing that it is already on its way. Most people misunderstand attraction. They believe it is about forcing something to come closer, about using effort and willpower to pull what they want into their lives. But true attraction is effortless. It is about alignment, about becoming the kind of person who naturally experiences the reality they desire. When you assume that what you want is already yours, you act differently. You carry yourself with certainty, with confidence, with a calm assurance that what belongs to you will never require force. That energy is magnetic. It draws in the very things you once thought you had to chase. People often chase relationships, thinking that if they try hard enough, prove their worth, or give more, they will finally be chosen. But the very act of chasing tells the other person that you do not believe you are enough as you are. It communicates that you need their validation, that you see them as above you, and in doing so you push them away. On the other hand, those who assume their worth, who stand in the belief that they are already deserving of love and connection, attract it effortlessly. They do not need to convince or plead, because their energy already affirms their value. The same principle applies to success, wealth, and opportunities. When you chase money believing you must struggle to earn it, you create a reality where money is always hard to come by. But those who assume abundance, who believe that prosperity flows naturally to them, experience a different reality. Their actions stem from a place of confidence rather than desperation, and as a result, wealth moves toward them rather than away. The effort is not in the chasing, but in maintaining the assumption of already having. Chasing creates exhaustion, frustration, and cycles of disappointment. It reinforces the idea that you must fight for what you want, that nothing comes easily, that life is a constant uphill battle. But those who live from assumption experience a different reality. They do not chase because they do not need to. They embody the feeling of already having, and because they believe it so deeply, it becomes their truth. The universe responds to their certainty, to their unwavering expectation, and rearranges itself to match their inner world. There is a peace that comes with assuming rather than chasing. Instead of living in a state of wanting, you live in a state of having. Instead of feeling restless and incomplete, you feel fulfilled before anything even arrives. And ironically, it is in this state of fulfillment that what you once desired begins to appear effortlessly. You do not attract what you desperately need. You attract what you believe is already yours. And once you understand this, once you truly step into the energy of assumption, you will never chase anything again. Everything you desire is already within reach, but it cannot come to you as long as you are running after it. The moment you stop chasing, the moment you release the belief that it is distant, you allow it to move toward you. This is not about passivity, it is about certainty. It is about walking through life with the quiet knowing that what is meant for you cannot be lost, that what belongs to you is already finding its way, and that the only thing required is the assumption that it is already done. Your world is not shaped by chance, nor is it dictated by circumstances beyond your control. It is a direct reflection of your inner convictions, the beliefs you hold about yourself, about life, and about what is possible for you. The reality you experience is not something happening to you, but something unfolding from within you. Every outcome, every success, every setback is a mirror of the assumptions you carry in the depths of your mind. If you believe the world is against you, it will be. If you believe opportunities are scarce, they will be. But if you hold the unwavering conviction that life is working in your favor, that abundance, success, and love are your birthright, then your outer world will shift to confirm that truth. Most people spend their lives reacting to their circumstances, believing that their experiences dictate their beliefs. But in reality, it is their beliefs that dictate their experiences. What you accept as true internally must materialize externally. If you assume you are unworthy, you will encounter people and situations that reinforce that assumption. If you assume you are destined for greatness, the world will bend in ways to prove you right. The power has never been outside of you. It has always been in the thoughts you persistently hold, the ideas you refuse to let go of, the deep-seated beliefs that shape the way you move through life. Many try to change their outer world without first shifting their inner world. They chase after wealth while secretly believing they are destined to struggle. They seek love while internally doubting their own worth. They push for success while carrying the conviction that failure is inevitable. And so, no matter how hard they try, their external reality remains unchanged because they have not altered the root cause, their own self-concept. The world does not give you what you want, it gives you what you believe you are. And until that belief changes, nothing outside of you can truly transform. It is not enough to wish for a different life. You must assume the identity of the person who already has it. If you desire confidence, you must not wait for external validation to feel worthy. You must embody confidence now, before the world reflects it back to you. If you desire financial abundance, you must not act from a place of scarcity. You must adopt the mindset of someone who already experiences prosperity. The moment you take on a new conviction, reality has no choice but to shift in accordance with it. Your outer world cannot contradict your inner assumptions for long. Doubt weakens conviction, and when you waver internally, so does your external reality. Many people move between faith and fear, between belief and hesitation, never fully committing to the assumption of their desired state. And as a result, they receive mixed results, moments of progress followed by setbacks, glimpses of success followed by struggle. But those who persist in their conviction, who refuse to entertain anything less than the reality they seek, eventually see the world mold itself to their inner vision. Consistency in belief is what manifests change, not fleeting hope or half-hearted desire. Your current life is a reflection of past convictions. And if you wish to create a new reality, you must first create a new self-concept. This is why lasting change does not come from effort alone. It comes from identity. A person who sees themselves as unworthy can work tirelessly for love, but their inner belief will sabotage every relationship. A person who sees themselves as unlucky can chase opportunity, but they will always find themselves blocked. But when identity shifts, effort is no longer a struggle. The person who truly believes in their own worth will attract love without chasing. The person who sees themselves as successful will walk into opportunities effortlessly. Your outer world does not argue with you, it simply reflects back what you believe. If you want to change what you see, change what you assume to be true about yourself. Your conviction must be unwavering. Your faith in your new reality must be absolute. This is not about wishful thinking or blind optimism. It is about certainty. It is about stepping into the feeling of already having, of already being, before the evidence appears. And when you do this, when you hold your new conviction with unshakable faith, the world will be forced to rearrange itself to match the truth you have chosen to accept. There is no force outside of you dictating your fate, only the beliefs you choose to hold. If you wish to transform your life, do not look to circumstances, do not wait for proof. Do not seek permission from the outside world. Look within, decide who you are, decide what is true for you, and refuse to accept anything less. Once you make this shift, once you anchor yourself in a new conviction and persist in it, your outer world will have no choice but to follow. Control is an illusion that the mind clings to out of fear. It believes that through force, effort, and endless planning, it can shape reality to its will. But true manifestation does not come from grasping, chasing, or struggling. It comes from surrender. The moment you release the need to control every outcome, You create space for the unseen forces of the universe to work in your favor. When you trust in the inevitability of your desires rather than trying to force them into existence, they begin to unfold effortlessly, without resistance, without delay. The tighter you hold on, the further away your desires seem to drift. But the moment you let go, they flow toward you with ease. Surrender is not about passivity or inaction. It is about stepping into a state of deep inner knowing, a place where you no longer feel the need to manipulate or chase. It is a shift from doubt to certainty, from anxiety to peace. Many believe they must fight for what they want, that manifestation requires relentless effort. But the truth is the opposite. The more you struggle, the more you affirm that what you desire is distant. But when you surrender, when you move with trust instead of fear, the universe aligns everything to meet you where you are. It is not through control, but through ease that your desires materialize. People often confuse surrender with giving up, but they are not the same. Giving up is rooted in hopelessness, in the belief that what you want will never come. Surrender, on the other hand, is rooted in faith. It is the deep, unwavering assurance that what belongs to you is already on its way. It is knowing that you do not need to micromanage the details, that you do not need to force circumstances to bend to your will, because everything is already working in your favor. When you surrender, you step into a state of flow, where what you need arrives at the perfect time, without struggle, without resistance. The mind resists surrender because it craves control. It wants to know when, how, and in what form things will appear. It doubts, it worries, it second guesses. But control is an illusion that only creates unnecessary tension. The mind believes that if it stops trying so hard, everything will fall apart. But the opposite is true. The moment you stop grasping, you allow things to fall into place. Manifestation is not about forcing, it is about allowing. It is about trusting that the moment you desire something, it is already yours, and your only task is to move through life as if it is inevitable. The energy of control is heavy, restrictive, and full of resistance. It tells the universe, I don't trust you to bring me what I want, so I must do it all myself. But the energy of surrender is light, open, and magnetic. It signals trust, and when you trust, you become a vessel through which the universe can work effortlessly. This is why those who operate from a place of ease, who carry themselves with confidence rather than desperation, always seem to attract what they need with little effort. They do not chase, they do not force. They simply align with what they seek, and it naturally flows to them. There is a rhythm to life, a natural unfolding of events that happens effortlessly when you do not interfere. The sun does not struggle to rise, the rivers do not force their way to the ocean, and yet everything flows exactly as it should. The same law applies to you. Your desires are meant to come to fruition, but they can only do so when you allow them. When you let go of control, when you stop insisting on your own rigid timelines and trust in divine timing, everything begins to move in perfect harmony. The delays you once experienced vanish, and what once felt difficult becomes effortless. Most people unknowingly block their manifestations by clinging too tightly to them. They obsess, they overthink, they constantly check for signs, wondering if their desires are coming, but in doing so, they are affirming that they do not yet have what they seek. Surrender means releasing this energy of need and stepping into the feeling of already having. It is about walking with certainty, moving through life with a quiet confidence that all things are already working in your favor. When you stop questioning, when you stop doubting, the universe responds with clarity, bringing your desires into reality faster than you ever imagined. Surrender is the key to effortless manifestation. It is the bridge between desire and fulfillment, between longing and receiving. When you let go, you allow. When you trust, you receive. The universe is always responding to your state of being. And when you release control, you step into a flow where life unfolds with ease. This is not about hoping, waiting, or wondering. It is about knowing. It is about embodying the certainty that what is meant for you is already yours, And in that certainty, everything falls perfectly into place.